Welcome to my basement, everybody. How are you doing? This is so
Hey,
bizarre.
Douglas.
How are you?
So you're so loud up in my ears with that voice. It's
Oh,
so beaming
I'm sorry. You don't normally
and
have
booming.
the microphone plugged right into your earbuds. Usually, you're sitting right beside me right here, and you can
I
hear it
am,
just on
yeah.
your left ear. Actually, it's usually this seat, so you're just on
Just on
your left ear.
the
Yeah.
one side. I know. I miss it.
Do
I
you
miss it
have
though.
tinnitus? Is that the right word from
I don't know what that is.
hard of hearing in one side because of all the
Oh, yeah,
bellowing that
from
I've
you.
done beside
No,
you
but
for
then
so
you,
long?
and then it was like Scott's complaining in this one, so
Mm.
it just kind of like balanced
Right.
out.
Yeah. What was it like being the pong ball in our relationship?
Um, what was it like? I don't know. I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
I kind of loved it. Yeah, I miss it.
We miss the hell
And,
out of you. I miss the hell out
aw,
of you. You're a
you're sweet.
fantastic human being, apart from being great at your job and just fun to work with. And
Oh, stop it,
and you made
you.
you made beautiful treats and cookies for us all the
I
time.
did.
Miss
Yeah, I
all of
know.
that, but mostly just miss our chats. And like I'm working my ass off trying to get the engine going on doing this
Yeah.
more. So that's what I
No, I know.
expected our first conversation to be about on Vic's Basement. Is like we're
On Vic
back.
Basement, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No,
uh,
I know. Well, I mean, it's fine. We got to ease into it, you know? So,
shit takes time.
uh, I think the most important thing
Hmm.
is this review now because you and I would have gone to go see it together.
Yes.
Um, but I kind of like that we didn't because I would have felt even more excited about it if I was with you. And because I wasn't with you, I was able to go in with like the lowest of expectations,
Right.
absolutely bottom of the barrel expectations. And I didn't have you all excited about it on the one side of me. So there was no pumping up. I was just not having any of it
And
going into it. So
I was very very excited. It sort of hit
yeah,
me on Sunday, last Sunday, that it's holy crap, this movie is real.
I
It's coming
know.
out. We're gonna see Batman versus Superman. I can't like I still part of me can't believe that it is real. That all of those
I
characters
know.
were brought together, and it really was just coursing through me. I was just like in chills. I couldn't believe it. I was gonna see all of these ideas manifested.
I was having chills. Did you wear your Batman shirt to the movie? I need to know.
No, I had worn it the day before, so it was dirty.
Okay.
I had worn it on the rundown on the show. So
What, what did you do to get it dirty? Did you have a burrito after work? What
mm,
happened? You
you,
can rewear.
yeah, No, I can't rewear the shirts. I'm a man.
Oh,
I'm a man. I can't
oh,
rewear my t-shirts. I wear them
I'm a
once,
big
and
I'm
then
a
they
big
got to get
fan of
washed.
recycling. Like I've just been wearing my Wonder Woman shirts all week. So I have essentially three of them, but two of them that I wear all the time. So it's just like one day, one, and then this one like 2 days in a row. Now I'm bringing it back. So I just have to like celebrate
What are you
Wonder
admitting?
Woman.
What are you admitting?
I don't like
Stinky
washing.
Marissa?
Yeah, well, you know.
Stinky Roberto? Is that
I'm Italian. I don't know what else to say
No,
about it.
yeah, I wear it once and then I put it away. But
I see. Okay.
I was excited, but I was also, I think, kind of realistic, a little more
Okay.
realistic. Like,
All right.
certainly my expectations were tempered by
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Rises and
Yes.
that shock. Like, I just couldn't believe that movie was so disappointing. And, I
Yes.
leaned over to Scott because I saw it with Scott and Blake, I think. And, I leaned over to Scott and I said, "Where the fuck is Batman in this Batman movie?" Because it just felt like we had 2 hours of
Other
yeah, and
characters.
Bruce Wayne in a hole, and then it's like
Yeah.
finally he comes back. But
Yeah.
um, so I knew that they could really f this up, and obviously I've been worried that they were going to f this up from all the
Yeah.
trailers and everything else.
Well, there's been so many mixed reviews about it, and I kind of hated that. I
Yeah,
hated that going into the movie because it hadn't even come out yet, and everybody's already saying so much about it. And I guess I shouldn't complain about that because I'm also on that side of things where I am a critic and we are critics and we do talk about these things before they happen.
yeah,
But I also felt like it is I feel like these people are saying things to me and I'm reading tweets about it that I already felt like I knew. I already knew that this was going to happen. So the fact that these words are being said and these tweets are happening, it's very disappointing.
yeah,
I was really hoping to, even though my expectations were low, I was hoping to still be somewhat surprised with something or have some kind of glimmer of hope in at least one of the characters. And I guess I did have that with Wonder Woman, and we can talk about that,
yeah,
or with Gal Gadot, because
yeah,
honestly, I was so upset when they had announced that it was Gal Gadot because I just felt like she's so beautiful, but she's so slender,
yeah.
and I just feel like that kind of takes away from the overall look of Wonder Woman and the power of Wonder Woman. But they were able to at least convey that in some way, that she does have power and she is real and she's a stoic. But I don't know. The other characters are just. I don't even know where you want to begin with this, because
I feel like we should, because did you do a review on your YouTube channel already? Did you do
I'm gonna post it later today. I'm
Okay.
doing this first,
Well,
and then yeah.
why don't I? Because I already posted the review, and so people have watched it, the non-spoiler review.
Right. Okay. So you just want to go like balls out.
Well, and people know that I turned out to be quite disappointed by this thing. It really broke my heart, this movie. So I think the thing to do is to hear from you, just get a general
Okay.
sense of your thoughts. So
Yeah.
we're in non-spoiler territory right now for a
Oh, we're
second.
still a non-spoiler. Okay.
And then so just give me kind of an encapsulation of first of all, thank you to everybody that's watching, and
Oh yeah. Hi everybody.
thank you to everybody that's joined us on this live thing. We are going to spoil this movie in this conversation, so be cognizant of that. If you haven't seen the flick, we'll let you know when we do start spoiling stuff. But
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
yeah, be aware of that. And
I
also,
would just-
thank you, Marissa, for agreeing to be on the show today. And it's
Stop it.
fantastic to have you. And yes, we all miss you. And I hear from viewers every day, where the hell are you? How come you guys aren't all together? What's going on? And obviously, we're not in production on the full fledge of EP right now, so we're doing what we can. And I thank you very much for just being with me today and
Of course.
helping me through this.
No, of
this
course.
emotional period of my life.
It is. I know. It's pretty emotional for me too. So I'm glad we could at least talk a little Batman together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I first of all, I didn't go to a critic screening of this. I paid real money, like real dollars for,
wow. Okay.
A ticket. I pre-ordered them because I was excited about this still. Like you
Yeah.
still have that excitement when you go into a superhero movie. There's a lot of, I don't know, just buzz around it, and you really want to see what Ben Affleck's going to be like as Batman. Like,
Yes.
that's crazy to me. So I bought the tickets, so paid for these AVX seats where you choose the one where you're going to go sit. I was so excited because I got seats at the end. I love seats at the end. So $40 later, then you buy popcorn and everything. So you're sitting down and you're just thinking, okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. This is going to be some kind of entertainment, and it's going to be worth at least, half the dough that I spent.
One would expect.
And one would expect that, especially going into this. And then I see, because I went to the 10:30 show, and there was a 7:30 show before that. So I saw all the people coming out of it. And there was no joy in anyone's face coming out. And I was violently concerned, especially because I've seen a couple of these people now that go to superhero movies. This one guy dresses up full on Superman. Like, he has the Superman look. He has the cape. He has everything, the leotard. He wears it all.
Yeah.
He's so excited about it. And he just always stands like this outside of the theater. Like, he really wants everyone to take his photo.
That's
and he had
awesome.
a bunch of, and there was so many people there, like Wonder Woman, a lot of Wonder Womans, a lot of Batmans, a lot of Supermans. And nobody was like, there were no smiles coming out of this movie. And that was a big red flag, of course.
Yes.
And then I go into this thing and I'm sitting there and I guess I'm just waiting for an emotional moment to happen. I'm waiting for me to be connected in some way to these characters that I'm seeing on the screen. And that never happened. Even when Wonder Woman showed up, like when I saw Gal Gadot, I was just like, wow, that is a beautiful woman in a beautiful dress. Oh,
Yeah.
look, again, she's a beautiful woman in a beautiful dress. That happened 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Just stunning dresses. She's so stoic. She's beautiful. And then you see her in the Wonder Woman motif, and that's lovely as well. Still, there's not a lot for her to work with there because the script is pretty weak.
Yep.
And then we have these moments with Batman and Superman that I never really felt like. I thought that they were supposed to really bro down. I thought that they were really supposed to have these moments where I see true hate and then I see true friendship, and I didn't have that. There was no time for that. It just felt like there was a lot of smoke and then explosions, kind of, but then a lot of movement with the camera, a lot of lens flare. There's a lot of that stuff happening where it was beautiful to look at, sure, but I'm not thinking that when I'm watching it. I'm just waiting for this like moment where I just, at least give me something, give me some kind of emotional tie to this movie, and it just never happened. And honestly felt like it felt like I was stuck in the mud, and I felt like this movie was stuck in the mud. And when I walked out of it, I felt like I had my rubber boots on because it was raining here. It was a pretty crappy day in Toronto, and you're just kind of like dragging your feet. You just feel like
that's a great point. This is coming out in a weird time. It's not like we're leading up into the happy holiday season. It's not like the sun is quite out in most of North America. It's still kind of a mucky, post-winter. There's still snow on
Yeah.
the streets everywhere. This could have been kind of like a joyous kind of celebration of these characters to
Yes.
get us kind of going into the summer season, and
Yeah.
it works in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah,
happen
yeah,
at all. So, even, like I don't know when we're gonna start spoiling, but I just we knew that there was gonna be a certain moment in the movie
yeah.
that Zack Snyder was probably gonna do it, and he ended up doing it, and it was just so obvious when it happened. And I have to say that the biggest disappointment of all, like, there's a lot of disappointments here, but the biggest disappointment I have to say would be Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed with Jesse Eisenberg, and I'm not disappointed with him as an actor because I don't think you can expect anything else from this actor if you're going to give him that role. That's how he's going to play it.
Yeah, it's not his
But
fault.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. But I just felt like it was too much trying to pull at Joker a little bit, like they're trying to bring him into this
yeah.
and that character,
Or the
and I
Riddler.
or the Riddler, like a
Yeah,
lot of that. And I just like Lex needs to be his own man, his own character.
yeah,
And I get that you want to play it off like he's a little crazy. Like obviously you have to be a little madman to do this and think this and do stuff like that. But there had to have been a different way. Like
yeah.
Lex is his own character, his own entity really in this universe. And I don't there was none of that there. There was no separating of his own something
Yeah,
in this movie.
yeah.
So I was just, I was disappointed.
All
I
right.
was disappointed.
So score it up. I gave it a 4.5 out of 10.
Oh,
I don't know
you
if
gave it a four.
I don't know if you saw my review, but yeah, I gave it a 4.5
No,
out of 10.
I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to actually know yet. Like just like we do on our regular reviews,
Yes.
how we talk back and forth. I don't want to know what you think before I talk to you about it, so I
Yeah.
didn't watch it. But God, a score on this one. I feel bad for Batman. Did you see the sad bat? I see
Yeah.
the
The
sad
meme.
Ben
Yeah.
Affleck. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fantastic, and it's
So
hilarious.
I feel bad for him because what man doesn't dream of a role like this as an actor
Yeah.
to be Batman and then to have oh God I'm gonna yeah I mean a four is pretty spot on with this. I'm gonna give it a five actually. I'll go one more than you because I did still there was that glimmering hope of Wonder Woman and maybe her movie might be okay. So
Okay, so you give it a 5. I give it a 4.5 out of 10. So
God
if you are just watching this live and you haven't watched my review and didn't know that, so there it is. We did not enjoy this movie.
we did not.
It's a failure. I mean, Zack Snyder failed us. This is a bad movie. It's got
Yeah.
some nice pieces in it, but it's a bad movie.
I don't
And
even yeah.
I think this is where the non-spoiler stuff ends,
Oh,
and
okay.
this is where we get into spoiler territory and
Uh-oh.
how we
I
would have
don't
fixed this fucking mess, because it is a disturbing, terrible waste of money, this fucking movie, and it drives me
right.
crazy.
Yes, I
Yes.
just don't know how you would, like, how do you fix something like this? Do you actually give it to a different director? And at that point, uh, do we feel like Zack Snyder should be directing any movies like this anymore? Or
Uh,
should he go back to, I don't know, some kind of indie route? Because I don't know.
he's a great visualist, and he's got real
Yeah,
issues with trying to compile a
create.
lot of different ideas into one cohesive whole that kind of works for everybody. He's a
So,
divisive filmmaker. His movies always sort of you know skew to one audience and not another,
yeah,
and that's not what we, I think, needed, and Warner Brothers
no,
certainly didn't need with this movie, especially if they've got 10 pictures kind of lined up to be launched off of the success of this movie. And now the only thing that they can hang their hat on with that idea is
yeah,
this thing becoming a financial success. So if it makes a lot of money, then they can justify that people liked it, and they'll just go right into production on all of the other stuff that's out there. But now I think for the fans and
yeah,
for realists out there, I mean, and I'm not trying to discredit anybody that loves this movie, and I know there are people out there that really do, but I think a lot of people are just going to be wondering why the hell he's still at the helm, and why are we going on
mm,
this sort of dark path with this with these
yeah,
characters in this franchise. But
right.
let's let,
Well,
let's get into
if
our
we're gonna
specific problems with this movie.
yeah, if we're gonna talk about spoilers, first of all, I don't know how much of a spoiler it is for comic book fans out there and people that have actually read this stuff because
Yeah,
we obviously Zack Snyder was somewhat obsessed with wanting to direct a movie where he got to kill Superman,
yeah,
and that I just feel like we should have that in itself should have been its own movie to pay respect to Superman and the Superman fans out there. The
Mm-hmm.
moment that he had and the moment that he was given where he battled Doomsday, it was like that should have been a buildup of its own. That should have been torment with Clark Kent. There should have been more with Lois Lane. There should have been something with a
Yes.
story there
Yes.
where I felt connected to them, not only as coworkers, but as lovers and as friends, and pull me into their relationship a little bit. I got nothing. I got like a little bathtub scene that I just felt like, who's going to clean up that mess after? You know, like I
Yeah.
don't know. There was just like nothing there with
Well,
that. And they
more
needed
there
it.
this time with that relationship, only because it's progressed in time
Yeah.
from Man of Steel, because they were just starting to get to know each other, but a little bit more in that relationship than we got
Yeah.
last time. But I think one of the key issues with this movie is that it supposes that the audience is just caught up on all kinds of stuff and we're just aware of
It
all these
does.
things until it introduces the members of the Justice League in the most just disgusting, awful, shameless, fan film kind of way, like an email with video attachments with little logos based on each of the different characters, all sort of, and then like the characters are just sort of hanging in front of the sort of security footage cameras for a second so that you can see
Right.
their faces. That Aquaman
Right.
reveal was just laughable.
So
It was so
awful.
terrible.
I know,
All
it's
of
like
it.
that's all I get of Jason Momoa. Really? That's it?
It was so pathetic, and the fact
was,
that they kept going back to the Wonder Woman photo to kind of show that she's been around forever. The fact,
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of logic issues all the way through, and I want to talk about some of those things. But
Yeah.
my key problem with this movie, I mean, the reality is, and we've seen the movie. If you saw that trailer where Doomsday shows up, that's the movie. That's the
That's
whole
the movie,
goddamn
yeah.
thing. You don't need
Yeah.
to see the movie because you've seen it.
No.
All the best
You
stuff
you
are in
don't.
that trailer, right?
Yeah.
All
No,
the
you
best
really
things.
don't. You don't have to see it. And that, and then I feel like I'm disappointing people by saying you don't have to see it because people look forward to these movies
I
and they
know.
buy tickets in advance. And that's why I also felt like I didn't want to hear anything about it on Twitter or look
Yeah.
at it because I bought the ticket already. They're going to get my money. I'm giving it to them.
Yes.
So I don't want to give the movie validity by going. I don't want you to go to the movie because you're going to give it validity by going to the movie. But I just don't. Oh, I hate to say cancel your ticket and cancel your pre-order, but I feel like
Well, people have to make up their own mind. It's just going to suck if
Yeah.
this is a huge weekend, which we all know that it is, and
Yeah.
then Warner Brothers is going to feel, bolstered to just keep going on this terrible tack. I mean,
Yeah.
the movie does not make you cheer for the heroes.
No.
You don't,
No.
at the end of it, feel like, oh my God, I can't wait to see more of these characters. This was amazing. What a great,
Yeah.
like they're so heroic and they're champions and they're so much virtue and I love them.
Yeah.
And it just fails at all that stuff. But
Yeah.
apart from the cluster fuck of all of these pieces not working, which you can see in the trailer, right? You see it and it's just like, there's too
Yeah.
much shit in that trailer. How are they going to turn that into a movie? That it just
Too much.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous, and
It
it's
does,
true.
yeah.
It is ridiculous. Luthor ruins the movie, just
Luthor
like
really does, yeah.
Amy Adams almost sabotaged, and as her role as Lois Lane, she's terribly cast as Lois Lane.
I know why,
great
and
actor.
that's all I kept thinking about. Like, who could they have
Yeah.
put in her place? Anybody else? I feel bad because she is a great actor, and that's the thing. All of these people in this movie
Yes.
are commendable actors.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take anything away from them, and I even do feel like Ben Affleck should have another shot at Batman. Like, this isn't fair. That's
Yeah.
not fair.
No,
that he got this as his first role as Batman.
Yeah, and I think
that isn't right.
he's sad Batman in that video. I mean, I can't read his
Because-
mind because
Yeah.
he did actually deliver, and he's also
did, yeah.
a filmmaker. I think he's a
Yeah.
kind of an egotist, and I'm getting tired of him. Period. But
Oh no.
but like he is a solid choice to play this role. If there wasn't
Yeah.
all this extra stupid baggage around him, he would just be much more interesting. But he is just
Yes.
like this, like I don't know, man. Like I just feel like he's got to flaunt himself so much, and it's
He does, yeah.
I wish that he would just disappear for a little while.
Oh, no.
But he is
No,
he's solid as this character.
I
And
kinda-
he's
yeah.
a solid director, and he understands the
Yes.
craft of filmmaking.
So that's why he's sad Batman.
Yeah, because I think he goes, shit, I
Oh,
trusted
shit.
these people, and
Yeah.
gave something here, and my credibility is on the. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like
It's
this
true.
could be the end of a lot of things. Like this, like if it doesn't do the numbers, or if the executives at Warner Brothers really just are not happy with the end result, this could end a lot of things. Like there could be
Like-
a lot of shuffling on schedules and people and recasting, and there could be a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if they're this is a business, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Fantastic Four was supposed to be queued up for another
Oh
sequel, and
God.
Fox
Well,
has
that
got to
was
rethink all of
just.
that. Sony had, the Sinister Six and all kinds of things lined up for the Amazing
That's right.
Spider-Man. They changed
Yeah,
all. I
yeah,
mean, now they're working with Marvel.
yeah.
I'll be surprised if there isn't some major, major fallout out of this. But
Well,
Luther
I.
ruins this movie. The whole presence of Jesse Eisenberg in this character destroys this movie. His performance as this quirky bird kind of Luther is an idiotic choice because he's supposed to represent
Absolutely.
this powerful human that can, not just, there's not a physical sort of strength there, but there is no incompetence in Luther. There is just nothing
Right.
but a surety, and so he is scary to Superman. He needs to put
Right. Yeah.
fear into Superman, and he also in the comics is so powerful and charming and manipulative and convincing that he actually becomes the president of the United States in the
Wow.
fiction of the DC lore. So fully
That's
ignored,
crazy. Yeah,
and
that's totally
instead
ignored.
we put Mark Zuckerberg in the fucking seat
That's
of
true.
Luther, and
Yeah.
it's a terrible terrible choice, and it makes that character completely
Yeah.
useless in
Yeah.
the spectrum of the story, and it
Yeah.
also undermines the every other character's reason to be in the movie
That's
because
so true.
because
Yeah.
because we're now wrapped up in this bullshit storyline of this character that doesn't fit, is shoehorned into this for no reason. They're
I
at
know.
Luther's party, and Luther's got he's doing
Yeah.
all the planning to try to take down Superman. Why? Because he just doesn't like Superman. He doesn't try.
Right.
What? How does that? That's not logic. Like,
I
why?
know. I
Why does he
know.
want to kill him? What's the reason that he wants to kill him and get the kryptonite from the Indian Ocean and make a
Yeah.
bullet and go to this? Like, what is the reason? We don't get to know that
I
at
That's the
all.
thing. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, and I don't know why the comic wasn't followed a little bit more then.
Yeah.
Did you read the Batman versus Superman comic? Like, were you into
Well,
all
I
that? Do you
mean,
know the story?
this is what they do with this is they kind of roll out a head-to-head kind of thing between Batman and Superman. They're always
Okay.
at odds because they deal with life very differently.
Yeah,
But
of course.
but this wimpy ass Luther who doesn't look like, I mean, he there are scenes where he's on stage giving a speech and he breaks down on stage because he can't find the words, and then
Yeah.
that's not Lex Luthor.
No,
This is
no,
a
he's
guy
supposed to be
that's
charming.
he's supposed to be charming and powerful
Yeah.
and confident and aware of what his strengths are.
And
And
I didn't understand the whole like alien ship thing and why he was in there. Like, why is everyone listening to him in there? I don't get it.
it
That
felt
that didn't make any sense
it
to me at
felt
all.
like they created a bunch of sort of maze routes and they got stuck, and then they tried to
Yeah.
backpedal, and then they went off in a different maze. Yeah, he takes Zod's body into the ship that had
Yeah.
crash landed in Metropolis, and he puts
Puts
Zod's
his
body
blood
in
all
some goo
over.
and puts some blood on him, and it creates Doomsday. And none of that shit makes any sense at all.
Yeah, I know.
And it undermines the character of Doomsday as well. Like, Doomsday is not
Exactly.
just some disgusting crafted by
Monster.
Luthor monster thing. He's a horrific, alien powerful being that ends up killing Superman in the comic books and ends up killing him in this movie. There's that
Right,
big
so like
spoiler.
what's
But not
what's
really,
his deal
'cause-
anyway? Like, why does he have so much beef with Superman? Like, he just is born and has beef with Superman immediately. He knows exactly who Superman is. How the hell does he know that?
They don't
I
explain
like
any of that except for the fact that he is some mutated version of General Zod
of
who
Zod
has
and
hate on
right,
and has
okay.
been killed by Superman, and
Okay, yeah,
stupid
right.
and ridiculous. And honestly, what it does is because it sets it up so that Bruce Wayne and Batman has to kind of uncover what the mystery is, and what are all these operations
Yeah.
going on all over the place to try to track down this kryptonite. He has to uncover all of this shit. And
Right, right.
and Batman's whole MO, right, which is established right from the beginning, is that
Mm-hmm.
he is really terrified of the power of Superman, so he's got to take him down. We should have seen Batman doing all of the investigative work to discover that kryptonite
Yeah.
was the thing that could take him down. The movie should have been focused on Batman uncovering, what can take Superman down, giving
Yes.
lots of time to both Superman and Batman to kind of really stretch out their stories a lot more,
Yes.
but also to
Yeah.
really understand why they would even get to a fight. And they
Mm-hmm.
should have had scenes of them trying to communicate about stuff and not get right into fighting, because Batman is not just a brawler; he's a strategist. He would have wanted to have met with this man to kind of understand some of his his frailties and weaknesses.
Right,
And
right. And
and
instead we had these like premonition dreams
yes.
from Batman. Like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. How is he having dreams now? Like,
Well, all of
is
those were shortcuts for exposition, and they were just cheap as hell,
yeah,
and they were all linked to, these are little threads for you to pull so that we're going to see some of these images later on in other future movies. Instead, we have this clunky morass, this mess of stupidity. Like all those
yeah,
files that Batman uncovers from Luthor, he would have
yeah,
known that all of these metahumans exist on Earth, and
right,
Batman's first instinct would have been to try to figure out if there are other more powerful human beings that he can use in his army to take down this one-man killing machine of Superman.
right.
He would have gone off and brought them to. He would have been the one, and that's
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
would have made a great movie.
Yeah,
And he would have uncovered who Wonder Woman is. It wouldn't have all been,
yes,
through fucking Luthor figuring all of this stuff. They just didn't sell us that this imbecile, this guy that was just sort of so crude that he actually has a dirty bomb that explodes in a courtroom and doesn't take
yeah.
like
Scoot McNairy's in this. What the hell?
well,
Like, he just shows up again.
a Superman. He says he doesn't see the bomb. This is a guy
Right.
that would have done full on.
Yeah, a full scan.
Absolutely.
We're going in there.
He would have used his
Smarter than that.
yeah, his vision to what's it called, the
I don't know, some kind of X-ray vision.
yeah, his X-ray. He would have used his X-ray vision to look at everybody and everything,
Yeah.
and he would have backed up all of the real world on the ground security that was already there. Total bullshit, total bullshit.
Yeah.
Nice scene, like shot well, cool, good sense of tension. But
Well, that's the thing.
bullshit.
That's what he did well in this
Especially
movie. He has good-looking scenes.
yes. And
That's
Luthor
it.
is supposed to be in the courtroom. He's not there. Superman is smarter than that. Superman also
Yeah.
does not crack a smile in this whole fucking thing.
I
Like
know.
honestly, like, he's just looks like he's gonna cry. He's saving people, and he just looks like
Yeah.
he's so glum about it. There's some
I
beautiful
know.
shots of all of these Day of the Dead painted Mexicans that are
Oh
so
yeah,
happy.
but that moment was so obvious. When I was watching that go down, I'm like, wow, Zack Snyder just wanted to have a nice looking shot, so he decided to bring it to Mexico where they're having a Day of the Dead series. Like, I just all of it just
looked
felt
great,
so
except
staged.
Superman
It
looks like
did.
he's about to like curl up and ball and start knitting.
I know.
It's like, oh my god, my
Start
life
knitting.
is
Hey,
so
nothing wrong with
terrible.
knitting.
Knitting rocks.
Makes me happy.
And should put a smile on your face, right? How come Superman can't enjoy a goddamn moment? He's saving people's
know.
lives. Instead, the movie is constantly reinforcing that these superpowered humans are gods, and we got to be nervous about them. And then he's got to feel the weight of that and the guilt of that.
Yeah.
Like it was just so ponderous and gross, and
It was
just
gross.
thumping you over the head, and
Yeah.
you know.
No, all of that for
Yeah.
sure. And I don't understand. I mean, I just didn't know if this was real and if this is actually a thing where they had the same names for moms. So in the comics, they bonded over that because their mothers had the same name.
Right, the
fuck?
way that the end fight worked out in
Like,
the movie.
that's how the fight ends. Oh,
I
why did
actually,
you say her name?
honestly, I like that part because
You did.
yeah, because I thought that was a clever hook. I think that they maybe executed it a bit poorly, and I mean, one of
Yeah.
the things that you said in your sort of overview is that you just don't
Yeah.
care about these people. You're right. By the end of it,
Yeah.
you just don't care about any of it. It's like
really
one
don't.
pretty scene after one pretty scene.
Yeah.
Everything's vapor thin, and
Yeah.
it's all so obvious that they're just trying to, bring us back so we can spend
Yeah.
some more money, instead of
I
just
know.
making us a great movie. Imagine if no Luthor, Batman's hunting Superman. He calls himself a hunter. He
Yeah, yeah.
discovers the other superheroes.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
talks to them about chasing Superman. Then
Yeah, let's take him down.
and maybe they get into a fight or two, but he realizes that no, he's been, he was wrong about Superman.
Yeah.
And just
It's
as
like
he-
all of these meta humans against Superman because he's a god. Like, we have to take him down. I
Yes.
like all of that. That's great.
And
I like
just
where you're
as
going
they
with this.
do, kind of discover that
Yeah.
he is, we shouldn't fear him. We should ally with him. Doomsday comes to kill Superman because he is the most powerful being on the earth, and
Yes.
that's what his modus operandi is to go and kill powerful creatures out there. And
Okay.
then they all have to fight Doomsday, and
Yes.
Superman dies, and it's
Yeah.
a real death, and you
Yeah.
don't see the coffin shaking at the end, so you know that it's just all bullshit. And there's a
Yeah,
real,
what the fuck was
it's
that?
terrible.
That was such BS.
Everything is half measures. Every narrative choice in this is just flat. This the
Yeah.
presumption that we are going to jump into years of relationship between Alfred and Batman. I mean, I love the casting. I thought strong.
Did you like Alfred?
I liked Jeremy Irons. I like Affleck. I like their camaraderie, but let it breathe. Give us a
Yes.
sense of some of this stuff. Screw
Yeah.
this dream bullshit where he's hovering from all the bats. They just, I mean, that they undermined their ability to craft a good movie with all of these monetary obstructions and decisions.
Yeah.
And it does look like the script went through a million revisions. It does look like they had a whole bunch of reshoots. It's a mess. There's no other way
It
to
is.
think about this
Yeah.
movie. It just is a broken shambles of what could be. And it
I'm just
sucks,
wondering.
man.
I'm wondering how much the movie would have changed if there was a bit more love there. I just mean love between
Yeah.
characters, like if there's a real love story there. Because
Totally.
yes, we're going to a superhero movie, but the reason why I love Deadpool so much is because it really was a love story,
Absolutely.
and there was none of that here. I honestly could have cared less about Lois Lane and Clark Kent in this movie, and I shouldn't. I should want them together. I want to see them together all the time,
Absolutely.
and I didn't. I was so annoyed with all of their scenes.
You
The
know
only
what?
scenes that I really loved was like Gal Gadot. Oh, that's a pretty dress. I wonder where
Yeah.
she got it from.
Yeah,
Like
and-
that's
And
where my
all-
head went.
And all Gadot really had to do was kind of sneer and smirk and smile and scream.
And just be beautiful.
Yeah, not enough. Not enough.
No.
But yeah, the Lois and Clark stuff is really significant. You're right, because
Yeah.
the Lois is what makes Superman's love of Lois is what made him kill Zod. That's my theory. That's what I can justify Man of Steel's choices with, because he really isn't Superman. He is Kryptonian, and he's
Well, let's all just
confused.
remember that Man of Steel was also terrible. But okay,
No,
yes,
I
continue.
liked it, but my major problem with that movie is that you don't believe that there's real love between
No.
Superman and Lois Lane, and that does kind of continue on in this movie, mostly because they don't have time. There's no time
Yeah.
to breathe with it, because all of these other silly, stupid things and dream sequences and emailed video files have to, moments of that bullshit have to happen. And
Yeah, all
every-
that stuff super important.
And every scene with Luthor is just a wasted scene. And
Oh man, I hated all those scenes. They were the worst.
yeah,
They were the worst
and
scenes.
and all the stuff that they prop up around Luthor and his machinations to have the Russian guards kill all these guys in Africa, and Superman racing to Lois's rescue and all that stuff. All of it is artificial and doesn't feel right, because
Yeah.
you miscast Luthor, and you miscast Lois Lane, but you also didn't give that love relationship the time that it really deserves in Man of Steel,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
in Batman versus Superman.
That's true. Yeah, there were big miscastings here, big ones.
Yeah.
But at least I'm pleasantly surprised with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Honestly, I wasn't, and I don't know if it's because of the way she looks. I thought that I would be also disturbed because her eyes weren't lighter. Like Wonder Woman has a certain look about her, but
Okay.
her face, it's the way it's shaped. I think looks very powerful as well. I don't know if that added to it, but that's all we could really go on for that one character is like her actual look, because we couldn't pull anything else
and
from
honestly,
that.
that's all there is in the movie. Yeah, it's just the
Yeah.
way that she looks, and it's like it's okay. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
that bugs me about Gal Gadot is that she just looks like a green actor. Like she doesn't
Yes.
she doesn't have any sort of real weight, this gravitas, this sort of like, oh my God, look
Yeah.
at this powerful,
Yeah.
force, like
Yeah.
she.
You
she's-
want the power of I don't know. Like you want the power of like an actual female wrestler, but the femininity of Gal Gadot. Like you want both of those things together, I guess, combined.
Yeah, you don't want it to be
So-
manufactured, and
No,
and
not
how
at
much
all.
of the stuff around Gal Gadot is based around our general
Already,
desire to finally see this character realized on film,
Yes.
and our ability to kind of just run with the casting because we're just going to accept it,
We have to accept it. Yeah.
I think you got to look at stuff like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Christopher
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Reeve as Superman and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and you cast to that. You cast actors that just unequivocally make you think, who else could they have gone with?
Exactly.
Right? And Wonder Woman
Exactly.
wasn't cast like that.
No.
Ben
No.
Affleck is a good choice, but frankly, a lot of actors could have played Batman very well, and it would have been less showy. It probably wouldn't have done the
Uh,
curiosity business that this is now going to do for this movie.
yeah. I don't know. Okay, so I do like I still want to give props to Ben Affleck. I
Yeah.
know I want to tear him down a little bit, but I did at
Oh,
first, but now seeing him in this, I'm just like, you know what? He
try,
kind of has that as a person, as Ben Affleck. I feel like he is that person. Like, I feel like there's a lot going on in his brain, but there also could be nothing going on in his
well,
brain, But I
no,
really want to know what it is.
yeah, no, he's smarter and he's darker than
Right,
the
yeah.
character of Ben Affleck out there, and so that underlies and makes you think that he could be this menacing Batman.
Yeah. Like a
Uh,
good Bruce Wayne.
and I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the baggage. I don't like that there is already a built-in hatred for that casting choice.
Yes.
That's the thing, right? Like DC set themselves up. Warner Brothers and DC set themselves up by having Zack Snyder direct this, divisive
Yes.
filmmaker,
Yes.
weird casting. Like Ben Affleck was not a good choice. In terms of creating bridges, especially after Man of Steel was a disappointment and a shock to a lot of DC fans.
Who was your choice for Batman? I forget. I feel like you came up with a pretty good list at the time when Ben Affleck was announced.
I don't know. I'm sure I thought of Gerard Butler. I thought
Okay,
I thought he would. I don't know if he is that great of an actor either, but I mean, I think he could have played a 45-year-old Batman pretty. They could have had some fun with it, but even he's got his own stuff right now.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to get into that right now because
Okay, all right.
I think he is okay, but I think, Henry Cavill's not a great Superman either. Like he's okay.
I know, but I do feel like he's a fan though. I feel like he is just living the best life right now. Like he couldn't be any happier.
You know what I think? He's a better Superman in real life than he is
Yes.
on screen. Like he's
That's
a
a very
very
good point.
charming, smiley, happy, good human being is what he kind of
Yeah.
conveys, and then he gets into the super suit and he looks like a guy with balloons all over his body and he's miserable. Just
Yeah,
fucking.
no, that's-
I gotta wear this blue and red shit and
Like how
save
can
this
you be
cat.
miserable, man?
Yeah.
You're Superman.
Yeah, I'm
You're
saving
Superman.
this drowning family, and I need a tissue. I need a hug.
Oh man, what was that line they kept using? Like you're my person or you're my human. What did he keep saying? Like that was his way of conveying love. Like we were supposed to fall in love with their love.
I don't know. So
you're
none of that
my
worked, right?
human.
For you?
No.
I mean, I kind of like that
Nothing.
he called her low. I like that bathtub scene. I thought that was kind of romantic. But he does look like he's oblivious, right? Because
No, it wasn't romantic because who's going to clean that up? That's all I kept thinking.
Totally. But he's Clark Kent, and he's got a big smile, and he's in love. And he looks kind of happy, and then the next shot he's in the super outfit, and he's angry, or he's sad, and it's like, it doesn't work, Like
Right? Yeah. No.
it almost should be inverted because regular humans would
Yeah.
walk around kind of worried about the world, and Clark is
Yeah.
trying to put on the glasses and become a regular human. He'd be
Right.
smiling less, Maybe
Yes,
in
yeah.
love he would be okay, but
Right.
as Superman, he would feel like I got this. I'm good.
Yeah.
Let
Also,
me
like,
let
yeah.
me convey some warmth and love to you, human who needs it, because that's my job.
Right,
I'm gonna
yeah.
come. I'm not gonna feel, like I'm not deserving of your praise, or
Right.
and
Yeah.
it
Also,
just
like the Daily Planet seemed to be thriving, even though
yes.
nobody buys papers anymore.
totally
Like,
and
it seemed really good.
exemplified by the great script choices to point out that they're hurting and broke and all
I
that, but
know.
they're in the top floor of this beautiful building, and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they have a helicopter and they can use, and they have like an awesome printing room where so many papers are being printed. Who is buying these papers?
I
We need to know.
and
Are they making
inauthentic as
money?
well. Totally didn't feel real,
Yeah.
or you don't feel like anybody's a real reporter. All of Lois Lane's stuff, she's just stumbling into things and gets in trouble that's the only time we see her reporting is when Superman's going to come and save her. What a
Yes.
terrible message. Terrible, stupid message.
know.
I can't come up with my own Pulitzer Prize winning reports. Everything I do gets me in trouble, and Superman has to come and save me. I'm a damsel
Yep.
in distress. Fuck
Yes,
that.
all
That's
of those
such
things. I know.
bullshit.
I know. Lois is stronger than that.
Yes. Margot Kidder
So,
killed it. She was incredible as Lois Lane.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
needed that fire, that power,
I know it is a disappointment. I guess it is one of those Fantastic Four kind of letdowns where you go in and you're kind of hoping for a little bit of something and you just
Yeah.
don't get any love, you don't get any attachment to these characters, and you get a story that you can really pull apart at the seams. They don't seem perfectly stitched together at all,
No.
and it is disappointing because I wanted DC to have their own universe on the big screen the way that Marvel seems to be having now, and
Yeah. You you
it's
could
just a shame.
you could kind of tell because there was not a this like a month ago we would have started to see the hype around this movie.
Hmm.
We would have started to
Hmm.
hear, "Oh my God!"
Oh
those
my
pull
God.
quotes would have been
Yeah.
in the marketing a month ago, and DC
Yeah.
would have been like riding the wave of love. Like remember the
Yeah.
Avengers came out and it was like, "You will not believe this movie" kind of stuff,
Like,
you know.
go and see it again. We went to see the Avengers like 2 or 3 times.
Yes, for sure. And yeah,
Yeah.
and this one, it almost, apart from the fact that the marketing commercials and stuff have been with us and so pervasive for so long, it almost
Yeah.
like stealth released this way and this week in some
Yeah.
ways. It's like there was no pull quote kind of thing happening. The stuff that
Mm.
was filtering online through social media through the celebrity screenings and stuff like that didn't feel very authentic. Like I
No.
cried at this movie and.
I know, and
eh,
then I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score, but it's so weird because if you go to IMDb, the score is completely different than if
Yeah.
you go to Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I don't ever. A lot of people are on different sides of the fence here,
Yep.
and I don't know if the people that are on the positive side of the fence are just going into it thinking, "No, I just wanted another superhero movie, so I'm just gonna sit here and watch it." Like,
That's not
I don't.
enough, though. That's my biggest
It's
problem
not
with
enough.
this. It's not. I mean, that you have the superheroes that literally created the superhero industry. Like these are the
Yeah.
characters that defined everything, and
Hmm.
everything has been built off of. Especially Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman too.
Yeah.
They're all 70 plus 75-year-old characters that defined comic books and superhero comic books, and they need to appeal to everybody. I mean,
Yes.
the thing with Superman and Batman, and Wonder Woman too, is that people were reading these things in the trenches during the wars. They were
Yeah.
reading them at home. They were, watching the black and white TV shows and listening to the radio plays and seeing the shorts before movies.
Yes,
There
and
is so
they meant something.
they
They
meant
meant
something.
something, and they gave people hope. And
Yes.
this movie does not give me hope, especially with the shitty year
Yeah.
that it's been so far. Like, we need something. We need like a glimmer of something, and this wasn't it, unfortunately. I gotta tell you though, went to go see My Big Fat Greek Wedding too,
Yeah.
and it just warmed the cockles. It was lovely. So there was some love in that one, a nice family something there. But this one is just, it's not. You can't even bring your kids to this. I think they're swearing in it, and there's a lot of guns
Yeah, Batman's killing
with
people
Batman.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cheap, easy out. I mean, I don't mind the ferocity of the character. I don't mind the branding. I don't mind his gritting his teeth and almost smiling when he's punching the bad guys. I certainly
Yeah.
like the acrobatics and the mobility of the scenes. Everything that he does, though, you see in the trailer, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
they just shot themselves in the foot in so many
And,
different ways.
yeah, and Wonder Woman's big moment was also the moment that you see in the trailer. So I don't know. It was just a lot of disappointing pieces to
Yep.
this puzzle that should have been, more than just a picture to look at. It should
Yeah.
have brought some kind of emotion, and
Well, this
it just didn't at all.
that was Snyder's responsibility. He really had to
Yeah.
bring a movie to the theaters that brought us all together. We
Yes.
all should have loved this movie. There should not have been dissenting voices. We should not have had this divisive, these camps of I like this, I like that, or these middle of the road type scores, or there's lots of
Yeah.
things to like about it, but mostly this is a broken. That's a failure.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
the fact that there is this much back and forth about whether this is a good movie makes it a failure.
It does make it a failure. And I
He-
gotta tell you, the guy beside me fell asleep.
Yeah, and he doesn't deserve that seat again because of this failure,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would argue because of Man of Steel, because they didn't like that
Yeah.
movie. I did like that movie, and I was excited to see what he would do. But he failed, and he does not deserve to have those reins again. Neither do those writers. David Goyer should be removed from the DC universe,
Yeah.
and we should see a different kind of vibe. And what makes this
Yeah.
especially hurtful is that the Marvel stuff has been killing it in the theaters on a consistent basis. Those movies just have been so much fun. You can quibble
Yes.
about the quality or the how much you enjoy each one of them, but consistently, I think the audience scores and the critical scores have kind of meshed a little bit, and
Yeah.
the financials kind of prove them out. They aren't all as big successes as we may think of them, but they make money and they're popular.
But they still, yeah, when you think about them, you still think of them positively,
Yeah,
you know?
as a quality product, right?
Yeah, and these
Yeah.
DC movies, as of late, I have not been excited about at all. I,
And
I want to leave a movie feeling so good. You just want to like go out and party or like go have sex or something exciting. Like
yeah,
do something fun.
yeah.
Give me something, you know, give me some
Stop
emotion
crime.
to leave with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you leave and every single person is dragging their feet when they walk out of this movie.
Well, I'll tell you something.
What the fuck is that?
That's a great point. I'll tell you something. When I read the comic books as a kid, they sort of defined morality for me. You know, they kind of
Yeah.
gave me a sense of right and wrong, and they made me, you know, kind of connect with these heroes and their sense of virtue and wanting
Yeah.
to protect the little guy and being the hero for, you know, the little that's not what we see. We see a bunch of selfish assholes, you know,
Yes.
who have a viewpoint who is different from another viewpoint, and they just have to battle, and that's the only thing that they can do. And so what we're left with is just a bunch of jerks on screen and carnage all around representing us, and it just doesn't seem real. Even like Affleck's questioning, which is great because Batman would go through this, why he does it, you know, like
Yeah.
aren't all the bad guys just back, and how long until the good guys turn into bad guys? Great, nice
Yeah.
allusions to where we're going with the DC stuff, and we'll see the Jason Todd Joker and Suicide Squad. Great, cool. But you know what?
Oh, God.
You're an asshole. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
why don't you show us why you're doing this a little more? You know, other than you're a hurt, dejected psychopath that
Right,
had
yeah.
your parents killed, and now you got to go and be a psychopath because of that. Show us
Right.
why you care. And
Yeah, because
Superman.
obviously he has to for him to put on the suit and put his life on the line like that.
Totally.
Like, really, if he was that miserable all the time, like, you would think he'd be a heroin addict or something. You know,
Right,
like,
right.
he has a lot of money, do some drugs, I don't know.
Yeah, and
But,
like this photograph that they show of Wonder Woman, interesting. Okay, Chris
Yeah.
Pine kind of buried in there, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think back to the movie reel footage of the '50s Ant-Man and the beginning of Ant-Man, and the you know, de-aged Michael Douglas, and just think how ballsy and cool that was. You know, what a
Yeah,
shock
yeah.
that was to see that, and what a smile I got on my face seeing that old archival footage of. And they could have done that with Wonder Woman too. You
They
know?
could have, yep.
And
they could have. I don't know.
There's a
I'm
million
kind of
things they
curious.
should have done, but they didn't do.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what those people that really, because okay, so the death of Superman was one of the biggest selling comics of all time, right?
Yep.
So I'm just wondering what those people who waited in line for that comic, that comic meant so much to them.
Right.
I'm just wondering what they're thinking when they're watching this movie and seeing this big moment in their lives, a piece of their history on screen, and have it just disappoint. I want to know how disappointed really they are with something like that, because that's a big, it's a really significant moment for comic book fans.
It's kind of a double-edged sword because there's a lot of us comic nerds, and that one actually, it was a gimmicky thing that DC pulled there. You know, any fan that had been around for a while knew that by that point they were doing multiple covers for comics. They were really popular in the 80s. It was part of it was the Dark Knight Rises and Watchmen and Camelot 3000, a few other of these event type things really started to get, you know, grow the comic industry, and so people were trying to. Image Comics had started. People were trying to one-up each other all the time with these events and gimmicks and multiple covers and stuff. And Death of Superman definitely fell into that camp. And what DC did with the multiple Supermen that came up out of that, the follow-up stuff, I hated that. I didn't dig that at all.
Okay.
All
right.
But Death of Superman had some resonance because it did feel for a while like DC was going to be like really moving away from Kal-El and Clark Kent and onto other things. But of course they weren't.
Right.
And what Snyder has done too is that he has borrowed liberally from that and from the Dark Knight Returns and Frank Miller's work, and kind of mashed it into this, you know, soup that doesn't really make sense. And I think that like I'm a super fan, no pun intended, of all of that work, but it's offensive, like you're
Yeah.
pulling from the best. You're taking these great narrative leaps forward into the lore,
Yeah.
which is exciting on some levels that some of this stuff is being created for the screen, but you didn't connect the dots to make us get to a point where we give a shit, and your
Yeah.
movie certainly doesn't do that. And one of the
Hmm.
things that I observed when I watched this for the first, when I saw this the other night, is that it felt like it's sticking with the incongruity of the chronological kind of order of Man of Steel. He was bouncing back and forth, and it was kind of a gutsy move. Not everybody dug it. I liked it, but he was bouncing back and forth on the timeline, and there were lots of flashbacks and stuff. That's what this whole movie felt like. It felt like it was in the placement of the Superman story too soon. We should have had just a straight Superman sequel. Really,
Yes.
they shouldn't. DC and Warner Brothers and Snyder shouldn't have been so afraid to go mano a mano against Marvel
Yeah.
and copy them and give us these individual pieces before we get the
Well,
big meaty
right.
showdown.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
they
Give
should have
Superman
just done
some
it.
respect.
Yeah, totally give Superman the respect he deserved.
Yeah.
Man of Steel was divisive. A lot of people hated it, but it did make money, and there were, I think, the beginnings of something great there. They did need to kind of answer to it.
I feel, yeah, but it
Yeah.
made money because people are hungry for a good Superman
Yes,
movie.
they are.
And so people went to go see this Superman movie, like, give me something. Like,
Yeah.
come on, give
Yeah.
me something, Superman. And then he's in this just miserable, and then he dies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I shouldn't we all collectively shed a tear for Superman if he's gonna die in a
No.
movie? No tears shed.
No.
No
'Cause
tears shed.
it felt artificial. It felt like a
Yeah.
gimmick, and it felt just like some silly plot thing. And Affleck's kind of gazing at the end, saying, "I have a feeling we're all going to get together real soon, or there will be something." And then he sees Luthor, and Luthor says, "Something's coming." And it's like, how would you know, you bumbling idiot?
I know.
Like you barely can. I mean, he concocts this whole plan to make Superman do something awful to kill Batman, basically, and he uses an egg timer. And
I know. And how did the egg timer sync up with, like, the timer they had in the room with Superman's mom? How did that work out?
It's just all stupid. Yeah, he's got to kill Batman, or the goon that he's hired is going to kill
Yeah.
Martha Kent.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so dumb. It's just
It was all so dumb,
honestly,
yeah.
like, and the thing that gets me too is that the TV work that's going on with DC right now is really ambitious and really
Yes.
reaching, and they're doing a lot with not very much. They're probably the combined budgets of Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl don't equal the budget of this one movie. And
Maybe Supergirl.
no, I bet you, like, if you throw in all of that money, it doesn't,
Yeah.
probably doesn't equal what they spent on this one movie with budget and marketing,
Yeah.
and the quality of the storytelling and the narrative, and not every episode's a winner in all of those shows, but they're pretty damn good, and they give you a better sense of living in the comic universe than this movie does.
Yeah, but
by
I
a
mean, those
long
are TV
shot.
shows, and they're forced to create a script and to create emotion between characters,
Yeah.
and that's something that did not happen here. So,
Yeah.
maybe this should have been. I just feel like this should have been at least two separate movies. One just devoted to Superman and his story, and if they need to kill him off, then kill him off, whatever. But then, if you're gonna have a Batman versus Superman thing, yes, do the whole, like, Batman. I love your idea, Batman just finding all these metahumans,
Yeah.
like finding the whole squad, do it and come at him, and that's great. But give Superman just deserved so much more than this, and Ben Affleck deserved more than this.
Yeah.
As his turn at the plate, his at bat with Batman. Really, poor guy.
Honestly,
poor, sad Affleck.
I wouldn't mind so much if they gave Affleck the reins on Justice League, and they just, maybe that's what they're going to
Yeah.
do,
Right.
and they won't tell us. Maybe Zack Snyder
Oh,
will
okay.
get the credit, and I don't know how this is all going to work out, but this is going to be a very interesting weekend to see how the
Yeah.
numbers are on this movie, and to see what Warner Brothers and because now like there's video out there, and you guys should all watch this, of the actors and Zack Snyder having to respond to the critic stuff because they were being interviewed in the UK
Right,
by
yeah.
Yahoo about the reception to the movie, and the mediocre reviews were already hitting, and that's where the sad Affleck meme has
Right, that's
started
right.
from, because he's just listening, and you can hear Henry Cavill. He's all happy. Like, Henry Cavill's
Yeah.
career might be over. I hate to
Aw.
say that, but like, he didn't do well with Man from Uncle. He hasn't had anything of real sustenance or
So
cultural value.
do you think he just lucked out because he looks the way that he looks?
He's a solid actor. He was good in Tudors, but he's still relatively young, and
Yeah.
this is a role that has really impacted other actors in a massive way. People
Yeah.
can't escape that character.
Right.
And you got to
Yeah.
be a really solid, versatile actor that's lived a lot and done some stuff to be able to kind of show off another thing, and he's had a tough time doing that. I like Henry Cavill. I think he's very physically
Yeah.
suited for this, and he's got chops, but this might do some real damage to his career, if
Yeah.
if this doesn't spark all of the sequels, and if the sequels aren't met well, like, he might not be able to do too many other things.
Well, I hope that I'm sure, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. These guys have got some money in the bank now.
Yeah.
Maybe they've made some smart investments. They'll be
Totally.
okay for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But
Well, let me throw this. What do you think about Henry
Okay.
Cavill as James Bond?
Oh, geez.
Right? See?
James Bond, okay, so James Bond has to have many qualities to him.
Mm-hmm.
One of those qualities, of course, being a badass, yes, a smart man, of course. One of those qualities has to make me want to drop my pants. Like, there needs to be that quality as well
Right.
to James Bond. And
Yes.
Henry Cavill doesn't give me the tinglies, I gotta say. Like, he just doesn't, I just don't see him pulling off that kind of suave, that kind of charm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he does, that's cool. I just don't see it happening. He's got to have that certain authority
Mm-hmm.
or a command when he's on screen, and I don't think that he has that. But then maybe he just hasn't been given
The role.
the opportunity to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not dropping my pants for anybody but Nathan Drake right now.
Yeah. What do you want to see happen? You want to see Zack Snyder try to redeem himself with the?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
He's had many turns.
Yep.
He's had many at-bats, and at this point, he's below the Mendoza line in baseball, like we like to say. So I feel like that's it. Like, he's had his run. Now he's off the team. Like, that's it. Like,
Right. But you want to see Affleck come back. The Gal Gadot
I
movie's in
do.
production, so we're getting that next year no matter
Yeah.
what. So hopefully
Yep.
that's great.
Hopefully, yeah. But no,
I wouldn't be
Aff-
surprised if Affleck ends up being the director on the on Justice League 1 and 2. And how do you feel about Suicide Squad? Are you excited or not?
No. See, I was never really excited about
Yeah.
it because after we saw that team photo of all those characters, I just can't imagine, after seeing the mess that this was with just a handful of characters that we had to get into, I can't imagine seeing all of those characters and me having. There's no way I'm going to fall in love with all those characters.
Yeah.
For sure, Harley Quinn, I mean, because I love Margot Robbie, I honestly don't know about anybody else in this movie, and I don't know if I'm going to have the time in the movie, there's going to be any breath in the movie at all for us to be able to fall in love with individual characters. So I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be what it's supposed to be.
It's an amazing time to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff in the superhero on-screen space. Like, there are so many things to choose from. We can choose not to watch some superhero stuff and watch some other stuff. It's incredible.
Yeah, but you and I are going to go to these things anyway. But no, because we watched that animated one from DC with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
and
that was great.
really good.
Assault on Arkham. Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they can just replicate that live action.
I wish those writers and producers that are working on the animated stuff were working on these movies. And frankly, Greg Berlanti is a goddamn genius to be able to. He's working on 4 TV shows in the DC space right now.
It's amazing.
And they're all pretty solid. That's incredible. That's more commendable to me than this Snyder guy who's like trying to reinvent everything, and everything just ends up being a fucking bad mood. Like, that's
the Snyder guy. Yeah, some of the scenes I kind of just felt like, hey, we're going here now, we're going here. I just felt like, did you want a vacation in that spot in the world? Is that why you went there? And I hate thinking that. I hate
Oh,
being
the
pulled out
Indian
of a
Ocean
movie.
to go and get
Yeah,
the
the Indian
kryptonite.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's pretty. You must have had a nice time there. Like, I'm just thinking of the production and like getting all these things getting greenlit because these people want to go to
Especially
these
because
places.
so much of the movie looks so cheap too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Right? Like it looks
yeah.
like they forgot to light some scenes, and
It just looks like
they're
it's all stuck in the
improvising
mud.
lines, and the script isn't very good, and it's stuck in the.
Yeah,
And it's like, how
yeah,
did this get to 250 million or 300, whatever they spent on this thing? I mean, the effects are
yeah,
okay, but
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, disappointing all the way around. Blake,
I know.
any thoughts here, my
Did,
friend?
Yeah. Can you hear
what's
me?
up, Blake?
I can hear you.
I don't know if my microphone's working.
I can hear you
I can.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of people have asked how this measures up to the other DC movies.
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it worse than Jonah Hex or
No,
Lantern?
no, Jonah Hex is worse than this. And Catwoman is worse than this. And
Oh my God, yeah.
Batman and Robin is worse than this. I actually think Batman Forever is better than this. And with the Riddler and Two-Face.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, yeah.
And I said this in the review. I thought Spider-Man 3 was better. I thought The Dark Knight Rises was better.
Spider-Man 3 was better. Yeah. Dark Knight Rises was better.
And
Yes.
Superman Returns from and X3 I actually think was a better movie than this. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off, but yeah, this is a mess. So
Yeah.
I actually think that it would be interesting for us to put a video together on the worst comic book movies. But I think this is one of the worst comic book movies. It's better than Green Lantern. Green Lantern is dog shit. So it's better
Well, you
than
got
that.
it. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Green Lantern is dog shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, fuck. I'm disappointed for sure. And I guess I'm really disappointed for you because this is a big moment for you. All these Batman movies are big moments for you. And I feel like they just let you down.
I mean, these characters are so integral to the positivity of, the world's kind of cultural health and well-being,
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
that like they mean so much to so many people, and you just
Yeah.
cannot squander that. And I feel
No.
like they've been squandered. It's not just me. It's not just my Batman.
It's not just you. No,
like
no.
the fact that Batman kills people in his car and in his plane is a pain in the ass. But
Yeah.
that's like one of the most easily forgivable sins of this movie. It's.
Yeah.
One thing I really did like, and we've just been harping on this. I like the scene where Lois Lane saves Superman because he goes down to get the kryptonite rod that's actually going to eventually kill
Yeah.
Doomsday. Because that was a very, very connect the dots kind of throwback to when Miss Teschmacher from Superman the movie, the Richard Donner movie, goes down and saves Superman and takes the kryptonite off of his chest. He's got a kryptonite necklace around him, and she throws it away. And it was like her moment of
She gets to be the one that saves him.
yeah, and she because she's Valerie Perrine played her, and she was with Luthor, and so she becomes a good human transformed by Superman's virtue, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I also like there was one other scene where they do a panoramic. A pan around Batman as he's up on a crane overlooking the docks, and it's very Nolan. And I thought that was a nice tip of the hat to some great imagery that had been on screen before. Oh,
Yeah, but that's what?
we lost your video.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we lost your video.
How? I'm still. Okay. Wait, should I look?
Yeah, take a look.
Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, you're right, because Skype just sucks the power right out. I'm on low power mode now.
All right, okay. So we're there.
So
She's back. Yep.
oh, sorry, guys.
No problem.
I had to enjoy my little avatar for a second. My little me. Yeah. No, I just felt like that whole Lois Lane scene where she was saving him. Yes, but he had to save her first.
Yeah. Yes, he
So-
did. Yeah, and she just another damsel in distress kind of moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have gone very long on this. I think we should ask for one more question.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, we've been talking for a long time.
Yes, we have lots to harp on. One more
Yeah.
question, Mr. Blake.
Yeah, it's kind of off topic.
Yep.
Ladler X wants to know what Marissa thinks of Garden Warfare 2.
Oh, that's a good question. What do you think of
what?
Garden
Sorry?
Warfare 2?
Oh, Garden Warfare 2. Oh my God. Thanks so much for asking. I love Garden Warfare 2. I love it. I mean, I don't think you would have expected me not to love it, right?
Nope. Not shocked.
It's even better than Garden Warfare 1, which I didn't think was possible. But it is. It's it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying myself actually.
What's your favorite
Good time.
thing? What's your favorite thing about the game?
So far I'm digging on the well, I love so many of the customizations with all the different characters. But I really love rolling around with my orange dude.
Yeah.
I just love rolling around with him. And but that's the thing. I love how all of the characters have so many different unique abilities. And even how the little imp, if you play as a little zombie imp, there's obviously a call to Titanfall because you can call your own little mech that you wear as well as a power up with the imp. I love all of that. I love how each individual character on both sides have something so special about them that you can jump into. So it's always like a new experience every time I play the game. I'm never isn't that the beautiful thing about this Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare? It's like you can have a completely unique experience every single time you jump in, depending on what character you have.
Yeah. No, they did a great job with all the production and stuff in there, but it still doesn't hook me because there's so many other shooters that I play. But
come on.
I get it. Okay, one more question because we've gone long. We've talked for a long time.
Yeah.
Anything else, Blake?
I closed them.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Oh, you closed it. Oh, everyone's
all right,
sorry,
Blake.
everybody.
Blake, I know you've been biting your tongue because you sat with me. Do you want to tell the audience what you thought?
Yeah, the movie sucks. The end.
The end.
Well.
Yeah, it was a real shame, but this wasn't. This was awesome, Marissa. We're gonna have to have you back very soon. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me. This is fun. So go out and see my Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 this weekend.
Okay, that was the endorsement for Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. And at least we have Civil War coming up in just a few short weeks, and that's going to be incredible. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then fingers crossed for Suicide Squad.
And the baseball season starting, so we have that.
Right. And maybe you and I should play some MLB 16.
Oh shoot! You know what? Yeah, I don't even have that yet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well,
happening.
It was awesome to have you, and
Thank you.
And we'll have you soon. And we all miss you very much. And
I miss you guys too.
Toronto is lucky to have you, and I hope the city is treating you well.
Yeah. You know, it's been okay, except for the other day, the weather was shit. But other than that, it's been all right. I've been eating a lot of burritos.
Oh, okay. You got to rub it in. We miss you. See you soon.
Miss you guys. See you.
Thank you, Marissa.
Okay, bye.
That was my pal Marissa Roberto, and we love having her on the show. And we'll have her back for sure. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be back very soon with another Vic's Basement. Happy Easter, Stitcher.